Hi there, welcome to my channel Clean Food Living. Today's video is I'm going to show you how to grow countertop wheatgrass. It's so easy, no special equipment needed. You don't need a greenhouse, you don't need grow lights. All you need is your kitchen counter and the willingness to try. So hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. I'm going to walk you through the process step by step, starting with day one. These are the organic, non-GMO wheatgrass seeds that I use, and I got them off of Amazon. If you're interested, I'll leave you a link in the description below. And you're going to start off with 1/4 cup of seeds. Pour the seeds into a glass jar, and then fill the glass jar with water just so that the seeds are covered. Next, I'm going to show you how to do the seeds in also a sprouting jar, and this is a food-safe plastic that I'm using. What I like about this sprouting jar is it has a 2-container system, so it has like a built-in strainer and then a catch container for the water as well on the bottom part. Kind of hard to describe how it works, but you'll see how it works in this video. And then cover them with water, just like I did with the other seeds. Place the lid on, which has these little holes where if you are sprouting, it allows airflow. But just to sprout these wheatgrass seeds for the next day or two, really it's not needed. That's why it's just fine to use a regular glass jar and lid if that's your option. And that's all you gotta do for day one, so let's move on into day two. You're gonna take your sprouts from the day before and from the glass jar, pour them into a strainer. Then you want to rinse them off just like this, and then to put them back in the jar, I'm going to use this little canning top thing. It just helps prevent spills, and you can get all the seeds back into the jar. Put the lid on and place it on your countertop until tomorrow, day 3. Here's the sprouting jar. This is how it works. So you take the inner container out just like this, and see the water's draining out from the bottom. And there's the water catch. It catches the water. And because it has the strainer at the bottom, I don't need to put it into an actual mesh strainer like with the glass jar option. So run the water through, rinse the seeds off, and then I'm just going to place it back into the catch container, put the lid on, and place it on the counter. That's all you're going to do for day 2. Let's move on to day 3. This is when you're going to start seeing the wheatgrass seeds actually beginning to sprout. So if you look closely, you can see the little white tails forming. That's the root system pushing out of the seed, the official sprout. Pour the seeds into the mesh container, and here's a little closer look so you can see the germination starting. Give them a nice rinse off, and just like yesterday, you're going to put them back in the jar for one more day of sprouting. Put the lid on, put it on your counter, and you're good. So here's the sprouting container. I want to show you how this one does as well. There's the seed sprouts, the little white tails forming. Give the sprouts a good rinse. Place the inner container back into the water catch container. Put the lid on, and back on the countertop it goes. For day 4, this is the day that we're going to actually move the seeds from the jars into the soil. You can see the sprouting really kicking into high gear here. For the last time, you're going to pour the seeds into the wire mesh strainer, and here's a nice little close-up of those roots really developing. Give it a nice fresh rinse. And since it's not going to go back into the container, we're going to prep our soil after this. But for the moment, I'm just going to set this down because I want to show you how the other one does as well. Here's these guys in the sprouting container. I'm also going to give them a nice rinse off. And check the roots coming out through the strainer part on the bottom. This is why you don't want to germinate the seeds in the containers for more than these couple days, because the root systems will start growing so big that they're going to intertwine with each other, and it will turn into a massive root ball that you're not going to be able to separate the seeds. For the soil container, I'm just going to repurpose this spinach container. Now I've got some organic potting soil that I'm going to place into the spinach container, and you can really use any kind of potting soil or seed starting soil or topsoil. The wheatgrass is really low maintenance and will take in any type of soil. I'm going to use my hands to just pat it down and make sure everything is smooth and even. You also don't need that much. This is about a 1/4 inch of a layer. Now it's time to add the seeds. So you just sprinkle them on top just like so. And then use your hands to gently just move the seeds around and cover any bare spots and get everything evenly laid out on top of the soil. You're not going to put any soil on top of the seeds. The seeds are going to sit right on top just like this. Then I'm just going to place it in my sink here for a moment and give it a really gentle splash of water. It's okay if there's a lot of water saturation through the soil. The wheatgrass is going to just drink it right up. I already did one container, so this is the second. You place it on your countertop. It does not need to be in direct sunlight. As you can see, mine's just right behind my sink. And then put the lid on. And what the lid is going to do is it's going to keep the moisture inside so that the seeds stay nice and moist. You definitely do not want your wheatgrass seeds to dry out because that will kill them. So the lid just keeps the moisture content up and the water from evaporating. Moving on to day 5. Here we've got our 2 sprout boxes of the wheatgrass, and you can see the condensation built up on the lid. Perfect, that's exactly what we want. And here's what the wheatgrass sprouts look like at this point. You'll see the little white fuzz on the roots. That's perfectly normal. And here's the other one. Again, the condensation on the lid is perfect. And here we go. You can see the sprouting a little more advanced. Go ahead and just give the seeds a feel of their moisture content. Most likely they're going to still feel moist from the day before because the condensation is trapped inside these containers. But if they're dry, then just give them a quick splash of water. Okay, moving on to day 6. As you can see, there is a difference between the growth of container A and container B. This just goes to show that even when everything is done exactly the same location, same containers, same seeds, etc., for some reason, there's variances. Just give it a splash of water if they feel a little dry, which mine did. And notice my water is not on full high or anything. I'm really just giving it a quick splash. Place them back onto your countertop. Place the lids on. And you're done for day 6. Day 7. The wheatgrass is really starting to take off now. Let's take a look. Here's container A and container B. Even though the starting rates are different for both A and B, in the end all ends well, and they're both going to grow, flourish, and produce you lots of healthy wheatgrass. So do not be dismayed if your startup is different than mine, because as you can see here, both of these are different, yet all ends well. When you place them on the countertop at this stage, no more lid, because now the grass is getting tall enough it will come up against the lid. Day 8. Here the grass is getting really nice and tall. It's almost ready to cut, but not quite. Give it a feel, and you're going to feel the grass. It's really stiff. Now it looks like it's soft and green, but when you feel it at this stage, it's going to be very stiff, so it won't quite be ready. However, it does need a splash of water here because the lid's no longer on there trapping in the moisture. And for container B, that is just a little bit behind on container A. It has lots of moisture in it, so I don't need to water it, and I'm giving it a feel here, and it's super stiff. So it is getting tall enough where it doesn't need its lid anymore, but I think by tomorrow we should be able to start cutting. Day 9. Here's our wheatgrass. They're both looking spectacular. Since container A is a little more advanced than the other, this is the one I will start cutting first. And the great thing is you can just pull it up and out of the container. It holds its shape and form. It makes it so much easier to cut this way. So what I'm going to do is just cut down at the base, leave maybe an inch. Yeah, leave about an inch at the base there. That will stimulate the grass to grow back. I've juiced my wheatgrass, so that's all I'm going to cut for the juice that I'm about to make. And I won't be cutting again until tomorrow. After you've cut as much as wheatgrass as you want, go ahead and just place it back into the container. Give it another splash of water, place it on the counter until tomorrow. I've been cutting every single day for the past 4 days, and I just want to show you that result. You saw me cut on the first day, day 9, and I have continued to cut daily from the left side of the wheatgrass all the way to the right side. So the shortest is today's cutting. The wheatgrass will regenerate itself pretty quickly, as you see here how quick it grows. But while the wheatgrass in container A is regrowing itself fully, I can start cutting on container B. By the time I'm done cutting on container B, container A will be fully regenerated and ready for its second cutting. So you can just cycle your wheatgrasses like this so that you continually always have fresh wheatgrass. The wheatgrass will not continually regenerate itself forever though. It really starts to peter out after the third cutting, and I want to show you just that. So as you can see, the wheatgrass is starting to look a little bit scraggly, and that's because it's already regenerated itself twice, and this is the third and final cutting I'm going to get out of it. After this, it's really not going to regrow and regenerate anymore. So I'm just going to go ahead and just cut this whole thing down. I'll juice all of this, but for the sake of demonstration, I just want to show you how after this third cutting, it's just not really going to grow anymore. Remember this example from earlier? It just is a perfect way of showing how fast it really does regenerate in the beginning, the first and the second cuttings. After a few days, poof, it's back. But after the third cutting, like I've been explaining, it really peters out. So this is 2 days after the third cutting, and as you can see, it's not bouncing back the way it had been before. And actually, if you look really closely at it, you'll see that it's going to start turning a little bit brown in there. It's looking even more scraggly. So be sure to have your other wheatgrass containers in cycle so that by the time you've hit your third cutting here, you're done with it. Throw it in the compost, feed it to your chickens, whatever, but you can move on to your next container that has fresh wheatgrass and is ready to go. Did you have it built up in your head that wheatgrass would be a lot more difficult, and this is a pleasant surprise for you? I really hope so. Leave me a comment below. And I don't know if you saw these videos or not, but I did some in-depth nutritional profile videos on super greens where I compared spinach, Swiss chard, and kale. But I really went into depth in their nutritional profiles, covering their minerals, their omegas, their amino acids, and there were some clear winners there that may surprise you. I also did another video with that in-depth nutritional profile style on lettuce, because not all lettuce are equally yoked. I compared romaine, red leaf, and green leaf. And we may have it in our heads, lettuce is lettuce, so it must all be the same. Watch this video and you will be surprised. So you can check them out right there. And until next time, hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up. I'd love to have you be a part of my channel. I'll see you next time. Bye.